Other news today, Mayor Brandon Johnson releasing his forecast for Chicago's 2026 budget. The city facing what's projected to be a deficit of more than $1.1 billion.
This news just coming out in the last hour or two. Julian Cruz joins us now with the latest.
Hey guys, one thing is certain, it's going to be a rough ride. Today's budget forecast will make for difficult reading for city council members this Labor Day weekend. The financial projection for fiscal year 2026, adding to a Mayor Brandon Johnson setback yesterday with the Chicago Board of Education approving a new budget with CPS looking to close a $734 million deficit.
Chicagoans deserve the truth about the fiscal conditions of our city.
Mayor Brandon Johnson delivering what he describes as harsh truths at today's Zoom presentation. Johnson spelling out some of the reasons for the projected $1.15 billion deficit in fiscal year 2026.
The drivers are clear: rising personnel, healthcare, and pension costs, combined with the loss of one-time supports that previously helped balance the budget.
There is fat in this budget to be found, and there are ways to do things better.
Joe Ferguson.
Let me help y'all to understand something. When Brandon Johnson on his Zoom call says stuff like basically in one-time payments that help them balance the budget, what they are basically saying is money like the former vid money. You know what I'm talking about, the former jab pandemic money. So they was getting pandemic money, and it's the only reason why Chicago's budget was even relatively close to being balanced in the previous years, which is really weird because they knew that they didn't have a balanced budget. They knew that at some point that the city of Chicago would have to go back to pre-pandemic planning in order to make sure that they kept the budget up. They also are facing a $734 million budget deficit with the schools, and that's his own budget, separate from the 1.2. Basically, they saying 1.15, but I said 1.2. I anticipated it being 1.2. It's probably going to balloon up to 1.6 because this is just a forecast. This isn't necessarily the budget itself, but they are anticipating a $1.15 billion budget deficit, which is one of the reasons why they are begging for $800 million from the Trump administration. They begging Trump and they saying, send the money that you would send in order for us to be able to balance our budget instead of sending the National Guard in order to make our neighborhoods safe, because all of these 50 aldermen and the mayor is completely incompetent on being able to balance the budget for the city of Chicago. And I am predicting it. I have been saying it for years. I am telling you that before 2030 is here, Chicago, if something drastic doesn't happen and the people vote differently, so that you ultimately get somebody with a conservative fiscal policy and also knows how to manage the budget effectively while also increasing investment into Chicago immediately. And I mean immediately. And the reason why investment has to be increased as far as companies moving to Chicago and not moving out, right? Companies moving into Chicago. When you talk about the Mag Mile, which was supposed to be the premier shopping destination of the Midwest, in Chicago, the largest city in the Midwest, it is facing a vacancy rate of close to, if not over 50%. And then you also had these incompetent aldermen. They got 50 aldermen. It's like 50 city council people. And they all make over $100,000, like close to $100,000 a year. And they are running this city into the ground. They don't even own their own streets. It is owned by a foreign entity, and they got to rent out their own streets even to have a parade. When you think about this, and then throw in the fact that these incompetent imbeciles that are in office, and excuse me if I am absolutely upset because I cannot believe that people don't believe that voting matters, and y'all keep on voting people in here that are third grade teachers and that are Democrats and are liberals. And then to throw the cherry on top, these motherfuckers decided that they wanted to make sure that they spent hundreds, if not billions of dollars on illegal migrants. The nerve of you to be a liberal sanctuary city when you don't even have the money to take care of yourself. And the only reason why your budget was halfway decent was because y'all was getting one-time reoccurring payments, and you thought that the pandemic money was going to keep you, y'all was already on the pathway to bankruptcy. I'm telling you, I'm warning you. I am telling you, I've been telling y'all for years, and it ain't nobody saying this, but I'm going to definitely come back and say that I told you so. Chicago is first. Los Angeles is going to be there. All of these different cities, they are running a deficit, and they are continuously growing the deficit every single year. The school systems are collapsing. They are begging the state of Illinois and the federal government, while at the same time trying to buck up against Trump, which is the worst thing that you could possibly do considering the situation that you're in. They are eventually going to file for bankruptcy, because I've seen it happen within my own city, and I'm thankful that we've now had 11 consecutive years of a budget surplus in the city of Detroit, and we are building and we are growing, and there's people moving here. We actually have a population increase year over year. But I see Brandon Johnson, and y'all keep trying to support this idiot that keep on getting his haircut in the mohawk, and that should have been the first sign of why y'all should have been running out of there. Man, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely insane. And they're increasing y'all property taxes.
Former Inspector General for the City of Chicago, now president of the nonprofit Civic Federation, says the deficit can be bridged.
Folks should not be alarmed in the notion that this is an unachievable span to bridge, but it's serious.
Ferguson says the mayor needs to make labor a partner in the solution and make cuts before the city tries to boost taxes on the rich. But in today's Zoom presentation, Chicago's budget director says there are other issues weighing the city down, such as the looming reality of cutbacks in Trump administration federal funding to city housing programs, HIV/AIDS treatment, and more.
Areas of early childhood, senior care, as well, are areas that we are seeing and anticipate likely reductions at the federal level.
Today's sobering forecast coming after yesterday's bruising budget battle over Chicago Public Schools. The Board of Education, in a setback to Mayor Johnson passing a budget that excludes any possibility of a high-interest loan. Johnson unsuccessfully pushing for that loan to avert cuts in the classroom. But this is just beginning. It's going to take a couple of months before they come out with their budget.
You cannot push for a high-interest loan for the schools. Let me say that again, because you already can't afford. Where are you going to get the money to pay the high interest loan? This is like taking a payday loan and you already broke. This is literally, bro, dog, this gotta be the worst mayor in the United States of America. When y'all said Tiffany Henyard, I said, no way, Jose, because she was just ghetto. But that has nothing to do with what you were going to experience as a city, as a major city. He is trying to take a payday loan for the schools, and this city is absolutely, positively in shambles. Listen, first step, let me tell you the first step to y'all collapse. The first step to y'all collapse is they are going to raise property taxes. They're going to act like they're trying to tax the rich. The rich is going to get the hell out of there. More companies is going to leave, and it's not going to be a conducive environment for businesses, and it's not going to be, like, Chicago is going to suffer for the next 20 years. For the next 20 years, for the decisions that's being made right now, Chicago is going to suffer. And I hate that for y'all, because I'm not rooting this on. I'm bringing visibility to the issue because Chicago is still a part of the United States of America, and I don't want to see any city collapsing like the Oaklands and the Los Angeleses and the Chicagos based off of incompetent leadership. If y'all keep voting Democrat, this is what you're going to get. It's too late at this point. Y'all going to have to go ahead and eat that. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T. Janley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. We going to revisit it.